This morning on The Dish, a chef who grew up on the wild side. Cassidee Dabney's father was a wildlife biologist, and she spent much of her childhood moving among the country's national forests. That's where she learned to appreciate nature's bounty at the peak of freshness. Her culinary career also kept her on the move at worldwide locations of the Four Seasons Hotel Group.
But then she found an idyllic place to settle down. She is now executive chef at the barn at Blackberry Farm outside Knoxville, Tennessee, where the menu includes produce grown right on the restaurant grounds. And Chef Cassidee Dabney is with us. Good morning. Welcome to The Dish.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me,
Our
guys.
pleasure. This looks great. What do we have?
Okay, so I'm always trying to get people to eat beets because people hate beets. So we have roasted
Eating my
beets
beets.
with
I will
pecan
eat
butter
beets.
and aged balsamic vinegar. And then we have roasted butternut squash with hazelnut, creme fraiche, and dill. Brussels sprouts. These take a hot second to prep with the leaves. You
Yeah.
know, it's a little bit of a pain, but completely worth it with some smoked onion jam and chili oil. And then I have rack of lamb because it's bougie as all heck, you know, and you gotta have it at dinner. And then an apple crisp with a cinnamon and milk jam.
And if you're going to have that, you got to have the red wine.
Ooh, yeah.
Cheers to you. And the beets are good, by the way.
And this is
We
like
will.
garnish, goes well with just about everything or
Cheers.
nothing.
Cheers. Cheers. We talked about the way you grew up. You even had like a mushroom growing kit, I understand.
Yeah, when I was 10 years old, I asked my mom for a mushroom growing kit because I thought that would be fun. You know, when you move around a ton, you don't collect a lot of things. So growing up, my toys were basically food and playing in the kitchen, getting the antenna on the TV to get PBS. Right? So
With the tinfoil?
yeah, so that I could watch great chefs of whatever and then try to recreate those dishes with the things that we had in our kitchen. And my parents would, bless their hearts, eat these things that were completely terrible in retrospect. But
You've made up for it now.
I have, yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Everybody's
We
chewing.
both have food in
Yeah.
our mouth at the exact same time.
Go right ahead, my dear.
Okay. Talk about, the influence of your dad a little bit more. Brother's a wildlife biologist, so I'm so intrigued by what he did for you and what he passed on.
Well, there was definitely this instilling in me and my sister the importance of food. He was an avid hunter. We grew a lot of our own food. So when you have that relationship with your food, that you've seen it from start to finish, you respect it a little bit more and you treat it in a different way, I think.
You know, when you think about where you work now, nature is all around you. How does it inspire you to create?
Oh, it's kind of like cheating. You just go to the garden, and I'll just be hanging out in the garden, and I'll look down, and there'll be butternut, because we were covered up in butternut this year. Like, everywhere was butternut. And then you look over, and then there's dill just growing a couple feet away, and you're like, okay, I'll put butternut and dill together. And then you look to your other side, and there's a hazelnut orchard. So the dishes kind of write themselves just based on where everything's growing.
Like a little scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
Scavenger cooking.
But also sort of taking farm to table to the next level.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have a really great time of foraging on property and then preserving those things throughout the year.
What's the biggest challenge then you have? It feels like you have everything at your fingertips, but what is the biggest challenge?
I think the biggest challenge for me is our average guest stay is 3 days. So you have to have a different menu every night of their stay.
That's right.
So there's 3 separate menus, and then just finding the inspiration to do 48 dishes every season.
Yeah.
Whew.
I know. You keep a notebook for spring in particular. What about the rest of the season?
You have to keep a notebook for all of the seasons. Like, I'm already working on winter right now and hoping that I can wrap that up before winter actually hits. So I have some.
We will
Legit
have you
dishes.
sign our dish,
Oh,
please. You don't have
okay.
to think about your menu right in this moment, and ask you if you could have this meal with anyone, past or present. Who would it be?
Oh, that's easy. Dolly Parton.
Oh!
You know what I
Entertainment with it. Love it.
I mean, a lady that writes Jolene and what's that other song in the same night?
From
And
Houston, yes, exactly. Chef
okay.
Cassidee Dabney,
performance,
won't ask
too.
you to sing, but thank you.
Please, thank you for that.
For more on Chef Dabney and the Dish, you can head to our website at cbsthismorning.com.